So welcome. Thank you for being here tonight. So if you could fully introduce yourself to everybody and tell them what you're the owner of.
Sure. So I am Lascena Simmons, and I own Peaches and Tortilla Mercantile on actually just a couple buildings down on 102 South Main Street.
And so I have to ask, where did you get the name Peaches and Tortilla?
So I said I was a Southern belle with spice, and so that's kind of where the name came from. But also, it was really about being able to open up multiple businesses through one name. So if I wanted to open up an event venue or a cafe or a different boutique and restaurant, I could just travel that name across the board. So that's kind of how it started.
Well, that's really smart for branding. You thought ahead of time, and you've done all of that. So that's been really cool to see. And so now that we know where the name has come from, what about where did you come from? Where did you grow up, and what kind of family did you grow up in?
So I am originally from Katy, Texas, and my mom was a subcontractor, and my dad worked for my mom because he was a painter. And so my dad painted. Well, he still paints, and so he's probably been painting about 45 years. And actually, he's the one that painted the building all white and pink on the outside for me. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. And even, I was worried because after painting for so long, your joints and stuff really start to, it's like, you sure you got this, Dad? But he's hung from water towers before and painted, so he handled it.
He did an amazing job. Every time I see that when I come into downtown, it lights me up. I'm like, oh, I love that, the energy. And you see so many people taking photos in front of it. It's really great. You did an awesome job.
So the mural was done by Josh, which is free art. And so he's been such a blessing to downtown and the whole community. I think he even has painted on Chick-fil-A off Navarro. But all of our beautiful street art is all by him. So he's just splashing happiness all over.
And I love it. Every time I walk the crosswalks and see it, it's really special. Yeah. It really lights our community up. And so what I want to ask you too is that what brought you from Katy to Victoria, Texas?
Okay. So I never wanted to live like in a cookie cutter house or suburbs. And when my husband purchased the dental practice in El Campo, we were living in Katy, Texas, and I just pulled up a map, the closest, biggest city to El Campo, and Victoria popped up. And our house that we live in right now popped up. And we called the realtor. It was a Saturday. And we're like, we can only come down today. Like, can we please come? And then I walked into the house, and I just had to have it. And so we live in a 123-year-old Victorian in downtown. And
it's gorgeous.
Yes, thank you.
It looks like a storybook house for those of you who haven't seen it. It's like a living dollhouse.
Yeah,
it's really
a little
beautiful.
Gingerbread house, right?
It is. It's great.
Yeah, so I'm really thankful to have the opportunity to own a historic home and plant our roots here. So.
Well, and thank you for taking such good care of it, too, because I love that about our downtown is that a lot of people have restored or maintained a lot of the homes, and it makes it really magical when you drive through and you see the trees and all the houses. It really makes our downtown special. And so you came to Victoria, and then how did Peaches and Tortilla, how was that born? What made you start doing that? Where did that come from?
So it's always been a goal of mine to open a boutique cafe. I got inspired out of San Marcos, Texas. It was a store called Centerpoint, and it was across the street from the outlets. And I used to make my husband drive us all the way to San Marcos just so I could get a cinnamon Dr. Pepper shake. Bloom Flower knows this. So anywho, I got inspired by that, and when we saw our home, we had the opportunity to open my business because it had commercial building in the back, and so it provided me the opportunity to open my small business. And I was in the restaurant industry probably for about 15 or so years prior to opening my store, and it was going to be called Toothpicks originally, boutique. And so, and we like brainstormed like kebabs and all these kinds of things. But I ultimately decided not to kill myself and not open up a cafe and a boutique at the same time. So it kind of worked out because I have beautiful businesses that plant inside the cafe. So it's a really great shared space. So that's kind of how that all started. So it's been about a 10 or 15 year goal prior to it actually happening, I would say.
Well, and I like how you found a space and you put it in there behind your house and you worked and then you grew that into something bigger. So how long did it take you from when you opened it to actually grow that to move into the space you are now? And kind of if you could fill me in on what that journey looked like.
Sure. So I opened Peaches originally in 2019. It was March of 2019. And then I had Emmy 3 months later. So I was 26 or 28 weeks when I opened up Peaches. And unfortunately, that same year, COVID hit. And of course, I just had a baby. But I feel like everything works out how it's supposed to. And so my 1 year anniversary of Peaches, we were on, that's like when the COVID lockdowns kind of rolled out. So I had to cancel my 1 year celebration party. But I tell you what, when we opened back up in May, it was the week of Mother's Day. It was crazy. Like Peaches just, it took off right after that. And so it was almost, it's not like a blessing, but it was the way that it was supposed to happen. At the time, I would have not been able to go full throttle, just being a brand new mom, you know, and so it was really neat how it kind of all worked out. And during that COVID lockdown, I was also able to implement a website, and then I guess about what was it? May of 21, we bought the old Rosebuds, the big building over here on the corner that's, you know, loud and
That's
colorful.
so awesome. Well, I love how you took something that happened that you obviously have no control of, and you use that time to be a mom and build your business and strategize, and you didn't let it derail you, and you didn't give up. And then the community kind of rallied and came and supports you, and you were able to grow. And so what made you start doing, you know, the mama markets? I really love that. I think that's so cool.
Thank you. So I guess my first one after COVID, they just continued to grow. So I had really little mini ones, and it would just be like ASB Photography would come and do minis. I would have Cotton Curls come and sell her bows, and then we'd always do flower bouquets in my pumpkin patch. And so I went from having like 3 vendors to 20 to 30 vendors, just, you know, thankfully, they're just letting me block off old West Staten going towards Pump House. And then it just continued to grow. And I think after COVID, I just wanted moms to have like meaning and purpose and to find something they enjoyed. And so I think during that time, a lot of them didn't necessarily maybe want to go back to work. And so they wanted to start being an entrepreneur and creating their own businesses. And so I just wanted to give everybody a space to be able to do that, whether it be a wholesale account or their first pop-up or continuing to pop up with me. It's just about everybody getting opportunities, you know, and having a good time. Like your kids can come out. It was fun. We gathered together and
it is great.
Yeah,
I've taken my kids to those events. We love it. You always have something interesting and fun, and there's a little something for everybody. And I love talking to the mom entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah.
Because being a mom entrepreneur myself like you, I really understand that world, and most of them would have their kids with them, and like you create fun environments for that, and it's supportive to uplift them, and so it gives them the opportunity, like you said, to live their dream. And how special is that you're living your dream, but you're not only living your dream, you're making a pathway for other moms to do that too. And that I was blown away by.
Well,
I instantly was
really
like,
cool.
that is so cool.
Thank
It's
you.
awesome, isn't it? Right?
Thank you so much. Yeah.
And so you're like a dream dealer. I love it. I'm all about the dream dealers. And well, because a lot of times when someone builds a business, right, it's you never know if they're just in it for themselves or what their motives are or kind of where they're going with it. But I've seen you continuously, you help people grow and you help them flourish. And I know most of the time when we talk, it's about, hey, do you know any moms that like want to be vendors or they need anything, or is there anyone in the community? She's always thinking about others and wanting to create space, and we bounce ideas. And so I really appreciate that about you, because I see the love that you sprinkle on the community, but also especially for the mom entrepreneurs. And because you've walked in their shoes. I mean, can we just roll back for a second and rewind that? You literally you were pregnant and had a baby and started a business. Like,
I always
right?
laugh. Whenever it's Peaches' birthday, it's almost Emmy's birthday too. So it's like they celebrate birthdays
like you had
together.
twins almost, right? Like, wow.
Yeah.
So what was it like taking a chance on a building downtown, because there wasn't really much retail down here at that time? And so what was it like stepping into such a big investment like that and redoing it and making your vision come to life? And how does that feel?
So of course it's always a big risk, right? But my husband always encourages me. He's like, it's okay. It's a real estate opportunity. And I'm like, okay, let's just do this.
Love that.
So
he's your cheerleader.
Yes,
I love
yes,
it.
he's very
Way to go.
supportive, and he's been behind me 100% through this whole journey. So it's such a blessing to have that. But I tell you what, I'm glad I have a 5,000 square foot building, because I don't think I would fit in my 500 square foot building anymore. They're so, we just I think we have about 21 vendors now. And so it's pretty neat to see all of those businesses sprinkled inside of Peaches. And what motivated me to do that is during all these markets, and they were growing and getting bigger and more entrepreneurs were coming, I was like, I feel like everybody needs a space to be able to be permanent. So if they maybe don't have the time because they're moms, they're not crazy and they don't want to take the risk, and then, or just the financial or the time. And so I wanted Peaches to be able to provide that for other businesses in town. And so my business model kind of changed a little bit when I added in the vendors, but I think it's just a perfect fit of vendors and then Peaches merchandise. And then of course we had Bloom and Flower planted in our old soda fountain bar. And so her cookies and milkshakes just brought so much happiness, and they continue to just right down the street. And then now we have Green Cow Creamery planted there. So it's pretty
that
neat.
she sprouted and bloomed, and it's so great to see her place downtown. She does amazing stuff. My favorite avocado toast, all the good things.
So good with the
Parmesan. So it's really cool to see people grow and expand. And I know that we've talked before, and that's your goal, is to see people come in your store and you really want them to succeed and be great.
Right.
And if they grow beyond you, it's to celebrate that, because at the end of the day, we want people to be successful. And so you've had quite a few businesses and people do really well that have come from your store where they started out, correct? So that's been really awesome to see.
I think Gray Barn Mercantile is opening up over by Para Vida and all that. And she had a location in Cuero, and she's planted inside of Peaches right now. But she's actually going to close her storefront in Cuero, and she's going to come to Victoria now full time. So I'm really excited for her, and I think she's going to do great here. She does wedding and floral. And home decor. So she does a great job.
That's awesome. Yeah. And it's isn't it neat to be part of somebody's journey, right? Like you're the place where they have the opportunity they maybe otherwise wouldn't have, and then you're part of their journey to get to their dream. Like you had a dream of owning your own place. So it's really neat to see that happen. And then some vendors I know, they just want to stay there, and that's okay too.
Yeah.
Because it's great. I love your mix of items you have. I can always find something there.
Thank you.
I bought these pants today.
Yeah.
They know my first name in there. They know my husband too, so But no, it's really great because there is a little something for everybody. And now can you tell me about the ice cream shop that's in there?
Sure. So when Bloom and Flower let me know that she would be relocating, I thought it was perfect because the space that she's in now is great for her business. And also, at the same time, she was going to activate a building that was not utilized for a while, maybe a year or so. And so when she did that, I was like, what is a great fit for downtown? What do we not have? I thought about reaching out to some not corporate, but well-known businesses in Houston and whatnot. And for some reason, the Green Cow Creamery like popped up in my head. And I think it's because I feel like it's a perfect spot for ice cream. And we don't have an ice cream shop in downtown. And so I called her and she was like, okay. I was like, really? So she drove down here and looked at it, and she went for it. So she's a very hard worker. Her first location is on Cuero Main Street, and her ice cream is just delicious.
It's so good.
It really is.
It's really good.
She's been making ice cream since she was a little girl with her grandma. She has her grandma's like ice cream machine, and it's just like a hand thing, and you just keep on turning it. And so, what blows my mind is she is very successful. She was very successful. She had a great career. She made good money. And instead of retiring, she went out and did this, for the community, and because she enjoys it. And, she's just, I think the alarm went at 5 a.m. a couple days ago, and I was like, were you really making ice cream till 5 a.m.? And she's like, yeah. So, but that's because Victoria keeps on selling her out. So thank you guys. Y'all are amazing. So
all of our flavors are so good. We try them all, and it's great. And I know that my kids have even taken field trips to her Cuero location. They came home and they're like, "Mom, this ice cream." Then at the Trinity dance they had, and I was like, "This is good. This is amazing." So I'm just so happy to have an old school kind of ice cream shop, because it's something, like you said, we didn't have.
Right.
And I love that you just went after what you wanted. You called her and you're like, "Hey, so you want to come over here and be in my store?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure." So
it worked out.
You went after what you wanted, and that's great. So you're talking about starting your store. How did you learn all of this? How did you learn to get the merchandise and do everything that you do? Man. Where did that come from?
I just self-taught myself. I didn't realize I was going to do interior design and marketing and accounting and all of these things, a buyer, but event planner, And so I guess just from along the way in life, I kind of just picked up a couple different things, and I just made it my own. I'm still learning. I would love for a big boutique to give me some pointers, but that's hard to do, especially when they're all out of town. But I think it'd be really cool to have a mentor, because I think you can always learn and grow. So yeah, I just taught myself.
I'll help you with that.
Thanks, girl. Okay.
But yeah, I think it's one of those things where you learn along the way, right? And it's really interesting, because I see a lot of businesses that start out one way and it turns into something totally different, but it's really beautiful to see the process. And so someone in our community starting a new business, what would your advice be to them?
My advice for new entrepreneurs would be to lift other people up and ask for help when you need it. I mean, networking is vital. If you are not networking, if you are not hosting events or collabing with people, it's really hard to spread the word. And I think, like I said, you can always learn from somebody and have a mentor. And even if they're in the same industry as you, Victoria is so big, and I don't think you should ever really consider somebody competition. My goal for downtown has always been to have lots of businesses. It was so important to me to help revive and just have foot traffic and bars and restaurants and activities and stores for people to enjoy. And when you hear about, people thinking somebody else is a competition, it's wild, because New Braunfels wouldn't be successful if there wasn't 10 boutiques on that street or 3 bars, right? Like, you want a bar hop. You don't want to just drive 20 minutes to go to one bar. And so the more restaurants, you just lift each other up. And right now, all these events, we're all just feeding off of each other and helping each other. So I just say go for it. Don't worry about what other people think. And it's a lot of work, but you can do it. So
That's great advice. And you're right. It's if you have growth mindset, if you have lack mindset, then you're always going to think it's some competition. But with a growth mindset, you realize there's enough for everybody. Since more boutiques opened, I don't spend less money. I think I actually spend more. And, you know, it's great because I want to see everybody be successful and grow and flourish. And I think it's important when you have a like business, talk to each other.
Right.
Because especially if you're going to market, you don't want to oversaturate the market with the same brands and things. So say like, hey, maybe I'm going to the Dallas market. Oh, I am too. Okay. Well, what kind of are you thinking about? Okay, this is what I'm thinking about. And if we work together, just like on the events, a lot of us sit down together. I know I call you, I call whoever immediately. I'm like, hey, thinking about doing this. Are you going to be doing anything? Oh, and I remember like someone's like, oh, I want to do the street fair the same day as your thing. I'm like, that is great. That only makes the event cooler to have another thing to go to.
Right, more people will come.
And I can tell you, it was nice to have enough businesses downtown to do a pub crawl. We could actually crawl places, you know? So that was great. And I appreciate you because it starts with people taking a chance on an anchor store and doing things downtown and helping it flourish and grow. And it takes that mindset of collaboration and supporting others. And I mean, how cool is it that businesses are sprouting out, right?
Yeah.
And so that's really a beautiful thing to see. And I think as women business owners especially, we have to celebrate one another. We have to lift each other up. The world is tough enough for any entrepreneur or business owner. But like you said, there's no reason to cut each other down. And especially in Victoria, there is enough for everybody. And I think when I see everyone work together, that's been something really special because I see everybody flourishing. I want to live in a town where we're all successful and we're all helping each other grow. To me, that's the kind of Victoria that I see happening little by little, the movement, and it's going forward. And you're a big part of that. So thank you for that.
Thanks, girl.
Thank you for taking a chance and going to the map and saying, Victoria, yes, that one. I love when I hear stories where somebody chose Victoria. They have no family, no other thing to be here, you know, business. You could have moved to El Campo and been peaches and tortilla El Campo or toothpicks. We don't know what would have happened. So I'm happy and thankful that you're here because you've brought this vitality and these events. And I remember even before I moved back, I had brought my kids to the pumpkin patch.
Oh, my old shop?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember I saw Dolly with her cotton candy, and, you know, I saw Allie with her photography and all the vendors, and I thought, wow, this is magical. This is cool. This is in Victoria, because growing up there was nothing like that I saw here. So it gave me that little glimmer of, well, if she's doing this, there's hope. There's cool things happening. We can move forward.
It's fun for people to come and do.
It is.
You know, so it's like, I don't know. I want people to have fun and enjoy what's going on in downtown. And it's crazy to see how many businesses have opened just in the past 8 months in downtown. And so Dolly, you are one of my OG girls too. I mean, it was so cool. She was out there twirling cotton candy, and there's a pumpkin patch, and she was going to originally do a lemonade stand, and then she changed her mind. And I'm so glad you did, because you brought so much joy to Victoria. Oh yeah. Oh, I will have to tell her my lemonade story. Yeah.
Now I need to hear your lemonade story.
Okay, so casually, I'm walking down the stairs at the gym, and Dolly and I run into each other, and she's telling me about this lemonade stand that she's going to open maybe, and I'm just so intrigued by it, because I actually just finished writing a book about a magical lemonade stand. And so I'm hoping it gets sent to the printer soon, and that
I've been waiting for this. I've been so excited
oh, you've seen
about it.
Yeah, you have seen it. Thank you for your help, and Bryce as well. But yeah, so I'm super excited about the lemonade book. And when she told me that she's going to open a lemonade stand, I was like, Dolly, I'm writing a book about a lemonade stand. Like, you have to be at my book release. And so here we are a couple years later, and
lemon cotton candy.
Yeah, that's lemon cotton candy. I'm sure you've made some of that before. So.
Well, and your book has a really beautiful meaning and story
Thank
behind
you.
it too.
Thank you.
So I'm excited for everyone to learn more when it comes out, and it's really special. So
I can't wait to share
everybody
with everybody.
stay posted for it, because it's really beautiful and it's heartfelt. So
Thank you.
And you've worked hard on it. I can't wait.
I'm excited.
So see, you never know what somebody is working on in your community. And a lot of times as entrepreneurs or even an entrepreneur or someone just in your community, don't ever just assume that you see them at their job and that's who they are or what they do, right? I think a good example is I spoke at this high school and one of the substitute teachers, she actually was a business owner in Victoria. And most of the students there thought, oh, she's just a substitute teacher. There's nothing more. She subs. And I was like, no, you don't even know what this woman does. She owns this business and she's done all these things. So I think that's really great to remind people that don't judge a book by its cover, pun intended, right?
Yeah.
Like, you never know what somebody's thinking about, what they're working on. So take time to talk to your community members, to get to know them and know, like, what do they want to do? What do their dreams look like? Or what are they interested in? Because you could be missing out on your best employee, your best friend, someone you could do a business venture with, or someone just cool to know in the community. And so I think that's a great point that you made is, I love that you're multifaceted and you're doing different things and you're not just the owners of Peaches and Tortilla. You're a wife, you're a mom, you're juggling all these things every day. And how do you find balance in your life? How do you do that?
Heather. I have amazing people in my life, and sometimes I don't find balance, right? Like sometimes I'm just like, oh man, like this is tough, but you just get up and you do what you got to do, and that's what it comes down to. Everybody's going through things. Everybody is very busy, and I have been blessed to where I'm able to own Peaches, but still be a very involved mom. And I'm so thankful for that. I get to see Emmy a lot. I get to drop her off and pick her up from school almost every day, and then I stay home with her after. And so, and when she was really little, she got to stay home with me quite often until she was about 2. And then she started doing her little day schools and whatnot. So I just try my hardest. Some days it's tough, and then some days it's not. But if my house would stop falling apart, then it would be so stressful.
The laundry would quit appearing all the time, right?
Yeah, I'm like, is that more water damage? Where did that water come from? Like,
it's a historic home. It's the charm of it. It's a charm. You
really got to love them. But I do love it, and I wouldn't trade it in for anything. My husband might feel different, but so you never know what you're going to wake up to,
Well, I always say it's like Forrest Gump's life is like a box of chocolates as a business owner and as a mom or a wife or just as a person in general. You never know. And, you're juggling stuff. And I love how you were honest and vulnerable. And you're like, sometimes it's not great. Sometimes I don't, I'm trying. But I think that's the point is you're trying.
Right.
And you're trying to do your best and be present for your family and, to be there for your shop. And, talking about having great employees and staff, how great is that you built something that is now providing jobs for people in our community?
Right.
That's really, really something. So thank you for that.
I never thought that it would be, do something like that.
So has it just grown? I mean, is this like, are you living your dream? Is this kind of what you pictured when you thought about you wanted to do this, or has it morphed into something totally different?
So, going from a 500 square foot building where you're very involved, you're the face all the time, and then I had just one employee that would come and help sometimes, to this new big business concept. Building a team is really important because there's so many different aspects of it, from the marketing to the event planning, to our room rentals, to even managing our vendors. And because there's 21 of them, I believe. And so managing them and getting them in contracts and, paying them and all these things, and then managing the employees through Peaches, our staff. And so there's a lot of new entities that, came with the new building. But when you say about, is this where I picture Peaches, I'm always daydreaming, right? And so I have so many goals and so many things that I want to accomplish, and online sales would probably be one of my biggest things that I want to focus on. And so, I don't know where Peaches is going to take me, but I know it's just the beginning for growth, right? It's only been 1 year in the new building, and I hope to bring more behind the scenes staff that can help me really prosper, because I can only do so much as one person. And so that's kind of my goals.
Well, it's crazy. It's only been a year because it feels like such a hub in downtown.
Thank you.
So it's you've done so much. I mean, during the time you started to here. So I want to acknowledge that. That
Thank
is
you.
spectacular. So wow.
Thank you.
Thank you for all of your hard work and investing in our community, in our downtown, in your employees, and giving others opportunities. I mean, I know as an entrepreneur and stuff, like a lot of you're like me in that aspect. You never step and give yourself credit or think about it. You just keep moving. So I want to give you credit and tell you thank you, because I think we should all give her a round of applause, because that's something really awesome.
Thanks, girl. Thank you.
Thank you. And so I would like to know, we're talking about all the things you've done. What is something that you would deem a failure, and how did you deal with it, and kind of what did you learn from it?
I would say building a solid team sooner. But it's hard for me to say that as well, because I've had such amazing girls. I've been so blessed with incredible girls. And unfortunately, since they're so incredible, they go to college, or
they expand and get
yeah,
their wings
they
and fly out.
expand.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited for them, but almost every time I lose an employee, I usually cry with her. But like happy tears and like, what? I don't want you to go. But I'm so excited for them as well. And so I think one of the things that I hate to call it a failure, but is building a full team. Somebody in charge of marketing, somebody in charge of buying, or me in charge of buying, and just different little entities like that. But other than that, it's hard for me to answer that, because I always feel like nothing's a failure in life. You learn from it.
And that's what I was going to say. It's a learning. I look at failure, I always ask that question. It's always interesting to see how people answer it. And I think it's really great, because most people do understand that failure isn't a negative thing always. Like, it's a learning experience, and you learn and you grow, just like you learned when you're building a business to have the right players, right? The right team. And each position is really vital. And, sometimes when you're starting out, you can't afford it, or you don't know and you can't do it correctly. But as you grow and expand to become successful, you have to let go of some of the reins and then have the team. And that is hard, though, at first. That is hard, because it's your baby, right? Like you said, and you've grown this baby, and then you're like, okay, I'm going to leave you. Well, no, maybe not yet. So that is another thing as a business owner that can be a challenge, right? Is you're like, oh, but then when you find the right people, and you do have amazing, amazing staff, they're always great. I love all of them. So I see some of them out here. Hi. But yeah, it's always great, because they light up, they greet you when you're there. They're always friendly and helpful. And I love the vibe of your store when you walk in. It's like you're going to your friend's house, and you're like, hey guys, how are you? And they're welcoming to everybody. So you have a really great staff. They're wonderful. And I think that as you grow, right, you're going to learn things and go a new direction. And so have you ever thought about franchising?
Well, at one time in my life, that was a goal. But as I feel like you have to learn. So again, I'm in that process where I want to learn from others. And so I think Peaches would be a really fun franchise opportunity for other people.
I've thought that.
Yes.
I always ask her this.
I think it would be so cool. I don't know if I'm as wild as Green Cow and would open up a second location by myself, but if somebody else wanted to open a Peaches, y'all just reach out to me.
She's throwing it out there, guys.
So,
Peaches and Tortilla, Fredericksburg. Here we go.
That's right. That would be so fun. I promise I won't move there, but it'd be perfect.
You can let someone else have a location.
That's right. That's right. And I can stay here and plant my roots, continue.
But yeah, I love how you've invested in the community. And, so I'm curious, you were talking about your dreams and future. So do you have any idea of where you're going to go? Because I know, or are you just going to keep seeing where it goes and kind of keep putting your daydreams into action and making them happen?
So with the rollout of the book, that is one of my goals and dreams, and as well as the rollout of online sales. I would love Peaches to be known all across the U.S. And so it's so cool. It's really true, y'all. When people order stuff online and we ship it to Louisiana, or I don't know. I think did I ship something to Alaska once? I think so. And I got so excited. Like, we really do those like nerdy, like excited dances, you know, that like it's so small business, but it means so much to us. It really does. And when you think about, like, I can only imagine, I love Target, but like, how many online orders do they get a day? You know, and I'm thinking, like, does the owner even know, you know, that, like, yeah, like how many orders he just, like, what a blessing.
Well, it's cool to have a piece of Victoria in these places, right? Like, it's coming from us and you're shipping it out to different places.
Yeah, it's really the neatest thing, like when we get little online sales. And I remember at my old shop, we just would handwrite the addresses, and now we have where the printing like system is all set up with the mail and stuff, so he'll just come in and grab it and take it. But I didn't have that in my old spot, and so it's cool to just see the little growths here and there that you get along the way.
To see your branding too. I love that. Like, to see your bags and then the little cards you put in there. It's all those little thoughtful pieces. And I really love that you do that, because it shows that you take the time and you care, and you put so much thought into your brand and the way that you present it. So that's something that's really neat to see, because not all companies do that.
Right.
So I do like that you take the time to do that. So online sales, everybody, you go order. Tell your friends.
We have a fun website, and it's great. Lisa will know this. I'm still not willing to give up my social media accounts. I'm having a hard time with that, but I'm on the tip of, like, at least getting help with it. So maybe one day I'll let go of that, but it's just my way to be able to communicate with everybody.
Yeah, and I understand that. And it's, you know, that's a great thing about owning your own business. You can do it in your own time, in your own way, right? And so one thing that I will say that I've really noticed that I really, really enjoy that you do, and I love that you do, is that you're very community-based and community-minded, and you haven't forgot that as you've grown. Thank you for that, because that is something that is part of your brand, and I think it's really special.
Well, thanks, girl.
And you've continued to grow in that way, so it's beautiful. And so you were talking about mentors. Have you had anyone that's mentored you or that you've looked up to that's kind of helped you along your way or has pushed you?
Unfortunately, I have not had a mentor, because I do think that would have been very beneficial to me. I've had great support from you to Main Street to seeing, you know, other businesses and stuff online and kind of evolving and how they grow. And I just try to kind of make it my own. So no, I haven't had a mentor, but if I would love one, I think it would be great, because I would learn a lot more.
You know that I haven't really had many either. I've mostly mentored, so it's not an uncommon thing for a lot of people that you don't have a mentor, but I have some in mind. I'm glad you told me that, because I have some good ones in mind for you in your boutique.
Love that.
So, and I know I want to take a moment to mention your mom, because I know she inspires you a lot. And so since you're on stage, I want to make sure to mention her, and she's told me stories, and amazing woman. And so, like, I just want to give her a shout out for raising such an awesome daughter. So,
thank you.
And think of her today while we're on stage. And so now that we're here and you've grown your business and you've done this and you want to do more online sales and everything you're doing, it's been really awesome to see all your dreams come true. You've impacted the lives of others, fulfilled their dreams, and you continue to grow in such a positive direction. I think the sky's the limit for you.
Oh, thanks.
And I'm so excited to see where Peaches and Tortilla goes next.
Here at Thrive Fuel, we build videos that showcase the best of your brand. One of the best marketing tools to showcase your above and beyond the competition is video production. Consumers prefer quick, easy to digest information, and that's exactly what we can create for you. At Thrive Fuel, We have the skill and experience to bring your video to life. Let us help you tell your story. When you thrive, we thrive.